My name's Gareth and welcome to Fat Pigeon Audio Reviews, where today we're taking a look at this. This is the Edwards Audio TT Apprentice. Turntable Apprentice? Apprentice turntable? It's the Apprentice TT. As you all know, here at Fat Pigeon Audio Reviews, I am a big fan of vinyl, a big fan of turntable, big fan of styluses, big fan anything to do with vinyl. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that you can set them up. I love the fact that it takes time for this. I love the fact that you've got a big physical copy of something, album artwork, folding albums, dust cover, everything. I love the whole thing. You have to get little bits and bobs, you know, little brushes, carbon fibre brushes that brushes it off. I love the whole process. I even love the fact that after 20 minutes of listening, you've got to get up out your seat and flip it over and put the arm back on. It's just a process that I like, and I love the sound, the depth, and that live feel that you get from vinyl records, and that warmth. Whoo, I love the warmth. And this is a new contender. It's one of those products that I've been screaming out for and waiting for here in the shop. The Apprentice TT from Edwards Audio. Now, it is £399. Here in the UK, £399, and it looks like this. Look at that. And it comes in like 7 or 8 different colours. They do blue, they do red, they do white, black, green I think's coming. All sorts of great ones. Anyway, so it comes with a Riga Carbon stylus. It also comes with, which is not every manufacturer does it. It's straight away out of the box, acrylic platter. Right? There's no metal here. There's no metal platter. This is an acrylic platter. And now for £399, this is what I was on about. I was sort of screaming out for an affordable, fantastic looking, good looking turntable, and I think we found it. I think here it is. It looks superb, and I tell you something else, for its price point, it sounds phenomenal. I do really like this turntable. Again, I'm not sort of one for, I have a very specific sort of thought in my head and what I'm looking for within a turntable. I know out there's so many different turntables, and every turntable sounds different. I get that at different price points, different manufacturers. They all do different things within their turntables. And I'm just not a fan of the rectangular plinth. I think the rectangular plinth is, for me, don't get me wrong, for me it's sort of like they just all look the same, even though they all look different. It's one of those that it's just a generic shape for me, and I'm sort of thinking you normally have to go real high end to get a nice shaped turntable and get that sort of look that you want without spending, you know, £1,500, £2,000 and above. And like I said before, I've been screaming out and sort of waiting patiently, well, not patiently, but I've been waiting for a non-rectangular plinth turntable, and here it is, and it is more than affordable. The great thing about the Edward Audio turntable is they've got quite a few in their range. They've got one that's, I think, £699, so £699, that doesn't come with a cartridge. Because you're spending that little bit more, you sort of already have your own cartridge, or you have a cartridge in mind. So it doesn't come with a cartridge, but it comes with a carbon fibre arm. Or you can get it with an aluminium arm, or you can get it with a larger tubed arm, a smaller tubed arm. It also comes with different thicknesses of platter. So the one above this one, the 699 one, the TT3, has the A5 arm on it, which is the A5 arm is the more upgraded arm, which is a bigger tube, and it's got that carbon fibre on it. It's actually made from carbon fibre. and the platter is thicker on the one above. But I had a word with the guy from Edwards Audio, and he said everything's interchangeable. So if you wanted to upgrade at a later date, I think for about £100–120, you can get the thicker platter from the other one, and they'll send you one out and you can put it on your Apprentice TT. As we all know anyway, with turntables, the upgrade path is fantastic. They're bringing out the sound absorption platters, as it were, not platters, the sound absorption boards that sit underneath it. I can't remember the name right now, but they're bringing those out, which is in all different colours as well. So if you bought the blue one, you bought the white one, you get the same colour absorption panel underneath, and it sort of seats with it and sits beautifully, and it sort of matches up. The great thing again about this range of turntables, and all the ranges of turntables, they come with different price points for the phono stages. So with this one, you don't have to have a phono stage if you've already got one built into your amplifier. But if you did want to upgrade, and you sort of wanted to try out away from your phono stage on your amplifier, they do a £99 one to try. Again, exactly the same colour scheme that you've already got. Or they do a £299 phono stage, or a £499 phono stage. They do the different thicknesses of platter, they do the different thicknesses of tone on, because I was really surprised with this. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually put this on first with the Martin Logans, with the H190 Heagle amplifier. And I know there's people out there going, well, that's a £3,500 amplifier, Gareth. Why were you doing that? Because, why not? It went through the Martin Logans, and it went through a £3,500, as the guy said, as he said earlier, £3,500. So it was like a £7,500 system. And I plugged this into it with one of its own £299 phono stages. I know, why did you put it through that? It's a £399 turntable. Because I can. Because it's fun. Hi-fi, as a hobby, it's supposed to be fun. Why not put a £399 turntable through a £7,500 system? Again, because I can, and I put it through it, and oh, it was so fun. It is such a great... Don't get me wrong, obviously the amplifier and the speakers helped, but it sounded great. Again, through those very revealing speakers, this sounded fantastic. Like I say, you can upgrade pretty much most things, the arm, the platter, and obviously the stylus. It's got the Riga Carbon cartridge on there, and it does a fantastic job. I think it's priced at about £30 or £35 here in the UK, the stylus. But it did a really good job. It was detailed, it was smooth, and it had warmth to it. And it's all you could sort of ask for at a price point of £399. It had a bit more detail than I thought, but again, that could potentially be the system I was running it on. But I also ran it on the 6000A from Audiolab, and it just did its job so well. It was pleasantly surprised me how well this ran, and it looked fantastic doing it as well. Again, again, the rectangular plinth is just not for me. This looks fancy wherever you're going to put it in your home. And the way it turns, and the sun was shining off of it within here. And I thought, that is just cool. I love it. Again, $399, it is an absolute winner in my book. It really is. And again, all those different colours and all the upgrade path for me has always been a big thing. Like I said before, with the cartridge upgrades, you can get the thicker platter if you want to on this. You can get the better phono stages, work your way up as and when you've got the money. You start with a £99 one, or you start with, but when you get to the £99 one, that's actually, they've been tuned together and they sound fantastic. And then you step it up again to the $299 one, you think, oh, it's sort of even more detail from there. And it's sort of doing a little bit of something to the lower end there. It's a bit more controlled, it's a bit smoother. And these step-ups absolutely help. Of course they do. It's these small increments of upgrades that gets this £399 original turntable to exactly what you want, and the options are out there with Edward Audio. Again, there's another blue one. We've got a blue one here in the shop that I've been running. And I put just an Audio Technica cartridge on it, the 95NE, I think it was. And it upped it again. I mean, obviously it's going to up it again. It's a more expensive cartridge. It was a little bit more refined on the top with that. And it brought things a little bit more forward for me as well. But this has that cartridge that you get with it. It's never going to stay on it, don't get me wrong. It's only going to last you a year or two anyway. But when you come to upgrade, it's that massive step up again, all depending on budget. But this cartridge that you get with it sort of fits it beautifully. And they've tuned it in with their phono stage, and everything works well together within this little ecosystem, the phono stage. It just works really, really well. If you're in the market for a £400 turntable, again, the £99 phono stage. So I do recommend that £99 phono stage to start with, because again, they are tuned and paired together very well, and it will work out. But again, if you can't afford that right now, you've already got a phono stage, put it on that. You might even have a better phono stage, I don't know. But they are designed and made together to sound the best they can in conjunction with each other. And they've sort of nailed it. And again, it's just, I know I keep saying it, it's just nice to see a turntable that's not square at this price point. And I've just been, I'm so happy that this is here. And the range of colours and everything else. It's great. It has the normal connections on the back. It has obviously the RCA out with that ground there. It actually has a button on the back to turn it on and off, and it's just then got the power input for your little transformed power brick at the back. And it just, the nice thing for me, I don't know if you saw, I'll show some videos on it, but the nice thing for me, it's a very simple, very basic system. Now the actual tone arm itself sits on this little bracket here on the bottom, and it's got like a needle and just an indentation, like a ball bearing type indentation where the arm sits on the top. Now obviously there's bracketry and things in there and gubbins and like magical stuff in there that sort of doesn't allow it to tilt left and right. Obviously it stays exactly where it is, but it allows you to go up and down, obviously across nicely. And it just, for that, because of that tiny little point where it sits, there's no resonances. It's very difficult to start to shake. It sort of gets rid of it within that point there where that arm sits. And the great thing about, again, it's a simplistic design. The great thing about it is that anti-skate. The anti-skate isn't like a little wire that you used to get, you know, the dangling bits and all that sort of stuff. It's actually just, I don't know if you can see it from here. I'll put some videos up, some sort of B-roll up for you. And it's just a weight on an L shape. And then it's got a bar like you see on the top here. So it's got a bar attached to the arm, and just the weight on the bottom of that L shape pulls it down, and that's your anti-skate to move the arm, you know, sort of thing. And it's very clever. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, and it's just such a simplistic thing, but it works. And it's got an adjuster on it, just a threaded adjuster, so you can put more force on it or less force on it. And I think that is just such a simple design, and it looks really nice. It sort of bodes well with all the actual design features on there as well. This was just a quick little video. Again, this is sort of, if you're in the area, or if you just Google them, have a look at them. I mean, they've been around for a while. They're actually British made here in the UK, and they've done such a good job of doing them. And again, I know I keep going on about it, but oh, thank God. You know, thank God at this price point, there's a new turntable out there that's this good looking. And again, with that upgrade path, I know I keep repeating myself, but I love it. I love it. Phono stages, different acrylics, different thicknesses. You can upgrade the tone arms. You can send it back to them. They'll sort of do it. Have a word with them. The options, obviously, as we know anyway, like I've said 1,000 times, the upgrade path for the cartridges. You can get this as good as you want. Now, I've just recently, personally, just bought a new cartridge. I'm going to do a review on it. Now, this cartridge, I had the exact cartridge on my turntable at home. I've got a Riga P8 at home. And I had, the exact cartridge on there. About £350 it was. And my daughter was in the VR and in the lounge. And now what she's done is she's not touched the turntable itself, but she's just been playing monkey tag or something, she said. And that controller's just come straight down right next to the, and it's just snapped the stylus off of it. The actual needle and cantilever, everything's just come off. So I've had to, unfortunately, I've had to buy a new one. It's the Goldring Eroica HX. So it's an MC cartridge that runs from phono stage. So I've got a Riga phono stage. And I didn't want to go through the sort of route of having to replace the phono stage and upgrade this to get the upgrade of the moving coil. So this system, this Eroica system from Goldring, is phenomenal. And the difference, the difference in detail. I've always been a bit, which is the better one, you know, moving coil, moving magnet. Moving coil was always sort of on the back of my mind, but I've asked certain people here that come through the shop and they've said there's not a massive difference in it. He didn't really notice a difference. Then you get other people and they say, oh my God, it's a must have. So I was a little bit undecided. So I thought, I tell you what, I don't have to go too far. I don't have to buy an MC phono stage. I'll get the Eroica. And oh my God, the separation, everything within. I'll wait for another review. I'll wait for another review. But the reason I brought that up is because I'd love to chuck that on here. Now, that's a £550 cartridge. And it's just because I can, I think, I may even put another video and maybe a sound demo of it with that, a £550 Eroica cartridge on one of these. And again, people are going to be out there going, why would you do that? Why? Because I can and it's fun. And I want to just see how much this steps up. And we all know, everybody knows that's into vinyl. There's probably watching this video. It makes a big difference. The cartridge is always going to make the biggest difference. That little needle, how much information it can take out of there and how well made it is the biggest difference that you can get. Sorry about that, my battery died. Life of a YouTuber. Cameras don't hold their charge when you're using them, it seems. Especially in 4K, it reduces. Anyway, I'm sure you're aware by now that I'm a fan of this turntable. I like to try and get as many good, fun things on the channel as I can, something that I can get behind, something that sort of threw me a little bit. You know, you expect a turntable for £1,500, £2,000, it's going to be good. You expect it to be good. You're paying the price for it. But when a turntable like this comes along for £399, but it does so well at that price point. Again, it looks great, and when it's turning your vinyls on it, I found myself staring at it the whole time. I don't know, I was listening to the music as well, but I'm just drawn to it, looking at it thinking that looks, I just love the way it looks. I know, let me get off the way it looks. But sound quality wise, it's smooth, it's warm, and it's got detail from that cartridge. Again, you can upgrade the cartridge as and when you're ready. So for some people out there, it can be a little bit daunting setting up a turntable for the first time straight out of the box. Now, there's some turntables out there take a lot of setting up. Not with this one. So do not be put off by that sort of setup, because the great thing about this is how easy it is straight out of the box. The arm is already in place, everything's already in place. All you have to do is add the weight to the back. Now, if you haven't done this before or you are about to do it, I recommend getting one of the little the scales, the stylus scale. Yeah, I'm on Amazon for about $9.99, maybe a bit cheaper. But all you have to do is get that scale, pop it on the actual plinth here, and then move it across and put the weight of the needle on it. You put the weight on the back and you move the weight backwards and forwards, obviously to get that pivot point and to get the weight correct. So what you do is you put it in a position where, about in the center where you think it's going to be, and you put it down. Now this actually sets up between 1.85 grams and 2 grams. Again, it sounds quite confusing, it sounds quite complicated, but it's a very simple process. So you get the weight on the back, in situ, where you think it's going to be, then you place it down. And all you have to do then is, say if you're getting 3 grams or 4 grams, you just move the actual weight further back to get it a bit lighter. And that's all you have to do until you hit that 1.8 grams to 2 grams on those scales. Then you tighten up the grub screw of the weight, and that's that section done. All you then have to do is, this comes separate, obviously the little handle here that actually moves the arm up and down, and that lowers it down onto your vinyl record. You just have to screw that in. Stylus is already, everything's already done. So what you do, when it first comes out the box, all you have to do is slide a little piece out the bottom of the actual main hub, like a packaging piece. You slide that out, it'll drop down. You then put the belt on in place, and then you put the platter on the top. It's literally less than 5 minutes. It's all very self-explanatory whilst you're taking it out of the box, because it comes out in order that you sort of do the job within the box itself. So again, quick summary, very simple. Sort the weight out, get the downward force right, put the belt on, put the platter on. That's it. Less than 5 minutes. So do not be put off and think it's a bit scary, because some turntables can be, don't get me wrong. Some turntables have a lot more setup than that. But with this one, out of the box, it's sort of ready to go. Less than 5 minutes and you're playing records on it. So you've set it all up. You move the arm across and you lower that arm down, and it slowly comes down, and as soon as it contacts that vinyl with the needle, it starts to do its job, and it gives you that warmth, it gives you that detail, it gives you that sort of depth of feel, like a live feel to it, and that's what I love about vinyl. And it comes straight through on this as soon as it sort of contacts the record. And I was sort of like just sitting there, of course I was listening to the music, and I was sort of getting drawn in by it. But it also had the light coming in, and it was touching the platter, and it was lighting up the bottom of the platter, and it was just a fantastic little experience. Especially, I know I keep saying about the price point, but for $399, $499 with that £99 phono stage. Again, you can go as high as you want with the sort of budget, if your budget allows. But it just worked. It's just one of those products that I know I don't want to say it, I hate to say it, but it does exactly what it says on the tin. And for me, as you can already tell, I probably said it before, I am a big fan of this product. It was only going to be a quick look video. I haven't really got time. My battery's just died. I've just wasted so much more time, which is obviously on me. But give one a try. I mean, like I've said on a few videos before, if you come into Audio Lounge, let's say, if you do live in the area, come and have a listen to one. And if you name drop, you say, I saw this on Fat Pigeon Audio Reviews, you can have 10% off. So you've got to think to yourself, for £400, it's a fantastic piece of equipment. I do really enjoy the sound that comes from this. But for 360 quid, it's even better with that 10% discount. So I've been here long enough. My wife's going to go mad. I just want, again, just a quick look at it, just get it on the channel for now. Maybe I'll do a proper full review on one of the more expensive ones, or the one up from this one at about $6.99, and I'll change the cartridge out. Like I said, it's one of the ones that you can get with the cartridge, you don't get with the cartridge. And I think we'll try some different cartridges out on it, and we'll do a review on those as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll stay tuned. Stay tuned, I keep saying that. It's not the 1950s. But fingers crossed, I'll see you in the next video.